Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back, and today we're going to do One Piece chapter 1058 review. Let's get into it. So we start off with the cover page where Caesar is helping out Germa 66 because he wants to get away. And looks like the poison gas was a great diversion for him to distract Katakuri and Oven. And he basically wants Germa 66 to help him escape. To start off the chapter, we pan to the ship where Nami is beating the crap out of Luffy and putting him in the cage for them jumping off the waterfall to get out of Wano. And she's just like, how could you pull such a stupid stunt and almost get us all killed, right? And I just thought it was hilarious when Jinbei chimes in and he's just like, don't worry, like no one got hurt. And Nami's just about to straight up kill him. He's just like, there's limits to this. There's limits to how much stupidity we can all take. And it looks like Nami has conquers haki according to Jinbei, due to her anger, her will of anger. And she's able to actually damage Luffy, so maybe there's some truth to it after all, even though it's just a gag, right? Next, we see that Robin ends up getting the newspaper from the delivery bird, and we start getting our new bounties. So I'm just gonna run through them real quickly here. So we have Chopper at 900 berries, and Chopper just went up, looks like I think 100 berries, something like that. Yeah, Chopper's bounty will forever be a gag. Next, we have Nami at 366 million. This is a pretty big jump for Nami. I think this was a huge jump, and I think it's well deserved, I guess. Nami's done a lot, and she's taken on a lot at Wano. Brook is at 383 million. Frankie's at 394 million. Usopp is at 500 million, and this is super interesting because Usopp actually has a bounty that Luffy previously had at 500 million. So it's cool to kind of see where Usopp is following in Luffy's steps, and all his lies are slowly starting to come true. Next, we get Robin at 930 million. This was a massive jump, and this is like a jump that I think everyone expected because since Robin's so valuable, and I'm surprised that she didn't reach this level earlier on because her threat level hasn't really changed. She's been basically the same. Yeah, she's gotten stronger, but she still knows the truths of the world and still can read the truths of the world, right? And so I don't know why this big of a jump came now, but I'm guessing it's just the prolificness of the Straw Hat crew now. And then we get to our boy Sanji at 1,032 billion berries, and Sanji's absolutely pissed now because he's the fourth, and Zoro is quick to point that out, that he's the fourth strongest out of the crew. And Jinbei is at 1.1 billion berries, which is surprising. I don't necessarily agree with this, even though Jinbei's done a lot. He's taken on head-on attacks from Big Mom, things like this. I still think Sanji should be higher, so I think Oda's gonna correct this eventually, but this kind of disrupts the big three right now. The big three are a big four. All four of them are above a billion, right? So we have Sanji, Jinbei at 1.1 billion, Zoro at 1.11 billion. This was previously like 1.1001 billion, something like that. And I think in the official translation, they ended up correcting it. So it was interesting to see why they corrected that. I'm not sure. Maybe it fit like a pun better, something like that. Some interesting pieces out of this, which I was kind of confused on, is why is Frankie's bounty picture now a ship? It's the ship, it's the Sunny. So that didn't quite make much sense to me. Is there going to be something in the future where Frankie merges with the ship? Something like this turns the entire ship into a massive robot, like a transformer robot? Like that would be super sick. Even though he already has that to some degree, now it would be combining the ship into that. So that would be cool to see. Maybe that's foreshadowing for that. Another thing I was questioning is why has Sanji's bounty reverted to sort of his old pick? You can see it in like a panel, like where the page is falling down a little bit, and I'll pull it up over here. And it looks, yeah, it just looks like his old bounty photo where it was that other guy, I can't remember his name right now, where he was faking to be Sanji, and that photo was going around obviously as Sanji for a while. And maybe it's the fact that now Germa doesn't want him alive, so that's why that bounty picture has reverted. Not really sure about that. So that's something Oda definitely has to clear up in the future. I honestly have no idea why they would revert it. Why wouldn't they just use a new photo of Sanji? And it was funny to see, like, after Zoro calls out Sanji for being the fourth strongest, they just start fighting like the old days, and you know, they're back to normal. Now getting to the Cross Guild, we go to Empty Bluffs Island, and it was just something I kind of noticed about the island name Empty Bluffs, right? That's kind of the entire idea of Buggy in general. He's a bunch of empty bluffs Like, yeah, he bluffs, but his bluffs actually have nothing to back them at all, right? Like, there's absolutely nothing for Buggy to back his bluff, right? So it's really funny that, you know, that he's on this island. So we open up at Empty Bluffs Island, where Crocodile is holding up just Buggy's head and Mihawk just has a sword to his throat, even though it's just a floating head. So like the sword is sort of just there, even though like they already cut off his head, right? And it's funny that Mihawk and Crocodile are absolutely pissed. They're absolutely pissed that Buggy was named this leader of the Cross Guild, even though Crocodile kind of started the idea, right? And it's hilarious that kind of Buggy took the acclaim for starting this. It's also funny where Mihawk points out that Buggy is probably the only person to have ever become an emperor after crying for mercy, right? And begging for mercy. It's actually hilarious how little will this man has, right? Then we see our boy Mr. 3, and he's already ready to change sides, and this changing of sides to going back to Sir Crocodile actually convinces the rest of Buggy's crew to be like, all right, we're gonna go team up with Crocodile too, right? They're like, should we even stay with Buggy? Is Buggy even actually that strong? Next, we quickly pan back to Gloom Island, where it looked like Mihawk was actually getting completely surrounded by the Marines, and they kept swarming him and becoming a nuisance for him. So he was thinking of, oh shoot, I might need to leave this island, Gloom Island, where I'm at, because kind of the Marines are too big of a problem, right? And not even too big of a problem, it's just that he's probably having to take out a bunch of fodder like all the time. And so apparently while this was all going on, Crocodile just hit him up and he's just like, yo, maybe we should join forces. That'll keep kind of the Marines away, right? And he actually points out that Mihawk used to be called the Marine Hunter. And that's kind of the whole point of the Cross Guild here, is that their whole idea is to start putting bounties on the Marines so that there's someone actually coming for the Marines now, right? And I think this adds another layer to what's going on in One Piece, instead of kind of just the pirates and Marines fighting because the Marines are coming after the pirates. Now it's going to be the other way, where bounty hunters are probably going to be involved, pirates are going to be involved, and they're going to start going for Marines, right? And so this kind of adds another layer to that, bringing the bounty hunters back into kind of play here. Then we move back to Empty Bluffs, where Crocodile initially pulled up on Buggy. So Crocodile was there on the island to collect on a loan that he gave to Buggy a while back. And it was funny where Crocodile was actually surprised that Buggy was still there, even though he knew Crocodile would eventually come and try to collect this bounty. So Crocodile also points out that he gave this loan to Buggy in kind of goodwill in the first place, even though Buggy isn't able to pay him right now. Buggy ends up offering his entire crew in exchange for this loan, right? So now all of Buggy's people are going to be under Crocodile, and thus creating this Cross Guild. And it's just funny that when Buggy's crew finally printed the flyers for the Cross Guild, Crocodile was just like, yo, why are you in the middle? You look like the president of the Cross Guild. You're not supposed to be the president of the Cross Guild, right? I am. Next, we go to Navy HQ, where they're deciding the new bounties for the Cross Guild leaders. And they're kind of pointing out all the things that Buggy's done, like organizing the Impel Down escape, things like this, and kind of building up Buggy, saying that he was on the Pirate King's crew, things like this. And that's why they ended up giving Buggy a bounty of 3.189 billion berries. They gave Mihawk a bounty of 3.59 billion berries, and Crocodile a bounty of 1.965 billion berries. And let's put some respect on Mihawk's name. Mihawk is basically an emperor here, and it's surprising that he's not an emperor. And he ends up pointing out that it might actually be a good idea for Buggy to kind of remain the figurehead, since Mihawk doesn't want to become an emperor, and it'll kind of put a target on Buggy's back while leaving them kind of open, so Crocodile and Mihawk can get rid of Buggy at any time and kind of move on with what they're doing, right? So it kind of gives them an easy way to kind of escape and get out of any situation that they need to. And then Buggy finally introduces Mihawk and Crocodile as his new executives to the Cross Guild, and you know, the Cross Guild's all set up. Continuing on, we go to Kamabaka Queendom on the Grand Line, where we meet up with the revolutionaries, and kind of everyone's glad that everyone was okay. Everyone's happy that Sabo is still okay, even though they don't quite know where he is at the moment. And some of the revolutionaries mentioned that Sabo apparently killed King Cobra after they split up. So Sabo must have split off with the rest of his group, and he must have kind of went off on his own and quote unquote kidnapped Vivi and killed Cobra, where I think he actually kidnapped both of them. And it was kind of framed by the world government to put Sabo as someone who killed King Cobra and then took Vivi, right? So maybe that was some orchestration by the world government on that side. But I guess we'll kind of find out more what happens there. And it's interesting to see where Dragon actually kind of calls out Sabo, and he's just like, if he actually did murder King Cobra, I will never forgive him. And he specifically states no matter what his reasons were, no matter what, Dragon is not cool with killing King Cobra. And I think we all agree on that side, because King Cobra actually was a good guy, unless we kind of hear something different from Sabo's side. And it was really effed up to see how Kuma, like the state Kuma was in, he was still kind of brainwashed and not all there, as he says, I am yours to command, master, right, to Dragon. And yeah, it was just messed up to see that, you know, Kuma might not be the same. And I wonder what information Kuma might actually have, even though he was a slave and kind of brainwashed during that entire time. It's interesting to think, what could he have seen in Mary Joa that whole time? And bring, we hear a snail phone go off, and it looks like the Navy are tapped into the revolutionaries line, which isn't a good thing. I'm surprised that the Navy would be able to get into this line so easily. Then Koala ends up picking up the phone, and it's our boy Sabo. So he's probably gonna explain the whole situation to the revolutionaries now. And yeah, I'm really excited to find out what happens next. Yo, One Piece is getting crazy right now. I always love this kind of intermediary part where we're transitioning between arcs and Oda is just throwing us information. He's just throwing information at us, kind of fishing us in. He's fishing us in, he's luring us in, and soon we're gonna be on to the next arc. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. Subscribe and like for more, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.